So, what's going on guys, KaidGames here, welcome back to a brand new video, and today I'll show you a quick and easy 3-step guide that took me from a noob to a pro player. All of these simple and straightforward tips and tricks you'll be able to implement in your own gameplay as well, to not only win every single game that you play in Warzone, but as well get better with each game, improve and develop your game knowledge and much more. So if you're interested in that, sit back, relax and let's get right into it. Then take a look at the first step on my list, which is learning more about the mechanics and the game itself. So I'll try to give you my best tips in a very short amount of time. And an example here, whenever you take a look at the gameplay itself, is the fastest way how you can land on any type of location. For example, most of the time people just land straight forward and don't think about the mechanics or what is the fastest way to do it. So for example, in Fortnite there are different things how you need to glide, and Call of Duty Warzone is not anything different. There's a really simple but interesting mechanic, which is that you don't want to just land straight forward, but on the other hand, for 2 to 3 seconds land, then click parachute, then cut the parachute and keep on doing that. Of course you don't have to do that every single second, but try to follow in the same footsteps like I'm doing in the gameplay. Like you can see in that example, whenever you're cutting the parachute and reopening it again, you're just not falling flat on the ground like you would normally would, but on the other hand you're like vertically moving, which gives you a lot better boost and make you land faster and further away. So did you enjoy the step? If yes, then I have plenty more of them. If you're a new player or even a pro and you still haven't decided the best locations to land, then these 3 are my most favorite ones, which are hills, pro-made east / pro-made west, or lumber. All of these 3 locations are really simple, straightforward. Most time only one team is landing with you, so not only at the start you can loot everything up that you want, but if you don't want to fight, just move further. And if you're that type of player that wants to get killed but as well wins, then all of these 3 locations are perfectly positioned, so you could move to any corner of the map you want. There are a bunch of shops really close enough, and there are a bunch of bounties or any other missions that you would need for any money or just fighting players. Then going over for example to my gun and the class setup, this is what I use and about 90% of the whole player game is using as well, which is the M4A1. It is an amazing medium range gun which you can use in close quarters or shoot from further away. It has amazing recoil, and with the right magazine you can have 60 bullets per round. The best tip that took me from a lot better player than I was at the start is a simple word, which is experiment. I'm not showing you my weapon attachments on purpose or even my perks because I want you to experiment. Yes, I can tell you that the best 3 perks are cold-blooded, overkill and tracker, but then you'll just copy them and never think about them ever again. But what I want you to do and challenge you is to experiment. Try different attachments. Maybe at the start, if you enjoy my class and want to get really simple kills really fast, then yes, copy everything I do, but don't get used to it. Whenever you level up your gun, try out different things, try out new different attachments, and you will see that not only your game and the game's knowledge will improve a lot, but you'll know how to use any type of gun. For example, at the start you eliminate a team and you cannot afford your own loadout, you can use different items and different weapons from other players and you still will be comfortable enough to use it like you would your normal class setup. Then the next thing is one of the biggest and best tips in my opinion, which I experienced, is how to get more than 3 perks per game, and it's actually really straightforward. So you just make 2 classes. In first class you use all the normal perks that you would always want, and in the second one you just change what other perks you would want in the same game as well. So for example, my first and my main perk, aka my main class setup, is using 3 perks, which are the cold-blooded, overkill and tracker. Then what you want to do is make another second class, and you can pick whatever weapons you want. You'll not be using them anyway, but in the second loadout just pick different perks. For example, one of the best perks is Ghost, which if I want to pick 2 main weapons in my first class I just cannot use. So what do? I pick it up in my second class, and then from this point on, this glitch or aka a tip is really simple. You buy 2 loadouts and you pick 2 classes. At the start you just afford for 6,000 your own class, and most time, like you know, if you have played the game, there are a bunch of random game generated loadout drops dropping, so just get to one of them and pick your second class. What the game does, it doesn't register and it doesn't change whenever you pick one class from another, but you use all the same things and weapons, grenades and tacticals, whatever you would with the first class. So you just pick both of them, and in the game you'll have 6 perks. Obviously your first 12,000 you shouldn't waste on it, but like I said, there are a bunch of game generated loadout drop marks which you can use and easily get 6 or even more perks. Then one of the biggest tips as well is for players who like to get kills or just know where the players are. keep on buying only loadouts and UAVs. One UAV costs about 4,000 and it's one of the best things ever. You just pop it and you'll be able to see any enemies who are close distance from you. This is what I do with my team to get 30 and 40 kills each game. We just buy our first loadout job kit and then from there buy UAVs, kill one team, get the cash from them and buy more and more UAVs. And that's how we can find any players we want really quickly, really fast. So yeah, what I'm trying to say is with this first step is that the more you play the game, the more you know and the more simple tips and tricks you should use. You may be asking how I learned all of this. I just played the game and figured it out for myself. But don't worry, all the best tips and tricks I'll put in another video where I'll be explaining everything really simply and shortly. So if you're interested in that, a new video will come out really soon. What good players do, they experiment and they find their own glitches and tips for themselves. So with that said, now we have come to the second tip or aka second step, which is how to move zone to zone. So if you ever have seen a pro player or a pro team move zone to zone, you obviously see that they are not just randomly running, but they're actually thinking. So I'll try to explain my thought process whenever I'm moving zone to zone. So at the start, the first two zones, it doesn't matter that much, but the shorter the circle is, the more things that you'll have to consider. So for example, I'm out of circle and I have to move. Firstly, what I consider and most time do is I pop my UAV and then I check how many players are close distance to me and where they are exactly. Whenever I have considered that, if I see that the zone is moving really quickly and I have long distance, I try to get the closest car to me. Remember, whenever you pick a car, the best ones are the huge, big and slow trucks or the blue jeeps. Yes, maybe they are slower, but they can take a lot more bullets before they touch you. So especially the smaller the zone will be, the more you will have to be aware of other players that they can easily shoot you, and these are the only two cars that you should be using. The other two, which is basically like the motorbike and other cars slash whatever it's called, whenever you're driving, anyone from any distance can easily kill you or snipe you because that car has no doors or no cover whatsoever. Obviously, the next thing is I decide either way to move through left to right. Whenever you have popped your UAV, you can see the red dots and you can consider on which side to go. But obviously, whenever you go, you have to be a destination, and I always pick a home, a big building, a house, or a huge hill. In this game, you always want to be in cover. It is not Fortnite where you can build your own base and go wherever you want. No, in Warzone you always have to be in cover, especially if people are just pushing you. Or if you're going for wins, then you have to be smart. Try to look for highest buildings. The higher they are, the bigger advantage you will get. A really quick and simple tip is just to go on top of the roofs, and then you can easily oversee the whole map. And then from there it's really simple and straightforward. You just follow the same steps. The next zone is coming. You just find a house, find the right or left side where to go from by just checking out where all the enemies are, and that's how you move to the last zone. Obviously there are more bunch of in-depth things that I could explain and much more, and don't worry, I'll explain them in a separated video. But like I said, keep in mind checking for buildings before you run every single time in an open space to move building to building. Keep in mind that you can get shot at any moment, and if you do, is there a cover that you could get to? About 80% of the kills that I have got is just from players who are not thinking and are just in open space. I shoot them, they try to run, but I basically can reload again and shoot them again, and you never want to be in that type of position. And then the third step and the final one, which is trying to finding new players to play Warzone. Yes, if you do not know by now, Warzone is basically made for 3 players. My first 50 or 60 games I played by myself with the random game matchmaking, and I couldn't get a single win. I tried out different Discord servers and I found people to play with 24/7. If you're interested in that, I have separated video on that as well, but I'll just put the most 2 or 3 popular ones in the description down below for quick access. If you're a new player or an old one, good or bad, it doesn't matter, you'll find any type of player there. By playing with other players and being able to communicate with them, not only you'll be able to improve your game mechanics and communication skills, but on top of all that, you'll be able to talk with players, enjoy your time a lot more, and most importantly, learn from them. The more players you will play with, the more consistent you will get. Not only you'll be able to learn from yourself and from your own mistakes, but from 2 other players. So that's basically that. Quickly summarizing the whole video, the first step is about tips and just playing the game and learning as much as you can on your own and trying to experiment as much as you can to be unique and get as good as possible. The second step is actually winning the game and moving zone to zone, what things to consider, which are the best cars and what are the best buildings to go to. And third, final step is finding different Discord servers, which I have made it easy for you and have already gave you. Finding different players, learning from them, playing with them, enjoying your time, and obviously becoming a pro player in Warzone. So with that said, I really do appreciate it for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see more content like this, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to keep up to date with every video, top 10 list, or whatever I make, which is every single day. And while you're doing that, enable that notification bell so you would get notified where a new video is up and running. If you want any other tutorials or videos or have any questions, don't be shy and leave them in the comment section down below. I always read 100% of my comments. Like I said, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. My name is Kaid. You have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy. Peace.
Yo, I ain't here for the money, I ain't here for the fame. Though it might be nice to own a jet plane, I'ma do it all for you. Come along and see